Dun 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 dun. Okay, let me just get it up. Let me just get it up.
All right, Charlie. You're too young to say that.
Let me get my notes. All right, that's embarrassing. Let's begin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinews. It is episode 6, and it is Friday the 8th. How's everyone doing? How are you doing, Christian?
Hey, Charlie. Well, long week. I look forward for the weekend. Get some rest.
I can't wait for the weekend to begin. There you go. That's it.
All right.
It's here. It's ready. And what better way to begin the weekend with a wrap up, a summary, if you will, a resume of the week's news in e-commerce. So let's jump straight into it. Today we've got some interesting stories for you guys listening out there in the world of podcasting. We have got e-commerce sales in India, massively growing, and this is no news to us really, because we've been discussing this stuff about Amazon India's growth and the Flipkart acquisition from Walmart. But that's an interesting story that we're going to dive into in a moment. We've got Germany. In Germany, parcels are being delivered on three-wheeler lawnmower-looking things. Right now, it just looks crazy, and you've got to check it out. We'll be jumping into that. Amazon is now the online store where most, Amazon is the online store where Germans are spending most of their time these days. Interesting and great opportunities for us e-commerce people and marketers out there. Retailers, so a survey's been done that has shown that retailers really need to invest in visualization technology for their products, and that's what the consumers want, and that they would spend more money if they could have this. So again, really interesting story there. SeatGeek is now bringing ticket buying to Snapchat. We're seeing some crazy growth in the whole kind of chat and application or e-commerce sales through applications world at the moment, and that's really crazy. It's really exploding, so I want to dive into that a little bit as well. And last but not least, we've got an acquisition from Patreon, who have acquired Kit, which is a company that helps that manages the logistics of people that sell merchandise, right? Merchandise logistics. And that's really interesting. So we've got a bunch of stuff coming up. Let's dive right into it. Our first news story for this week is the fact that e-commerce sales in India have been predicted to jump 31% in 2018. Now, we don't really need to dwell on this story for too long, because we know there's been massive growth in India recently, because we know that Amazon India is really, there's been loads of growth since they started, or just in the last year, there's been a massive amount of growth. And we know that Walmart has acquired 77% of Flipkart, which is basically one of the biggest e-commerce retailers in, or marketplaces in India. So we know there's a bunch of money going in there, and we know that there's going to be a bunch of growth in e-commerce as a result of that. But that's a pretty big jump, 31%.
Indeed.
By 2022, I don't know, this is a report from somewhere. I'm not sure. According to a report by marketing researcher firm eMarketer, right? So, and they've predicted that by 2022, e-commerce is going to be worth 71 or almost 72 billion US dollars in India, which is kind of crazy. That's a massive amount, right? Now, here's the kind of interesting thing here, though, that we've got a great opportunity for us e-commerce people out there. But also Amazon, we know that Amazon is pumping a load of money into India to get growth. And we know that Walmart is now pumping money in there. We know that Flipkart has already been pumping money in before their kind of acquisition from Walmart. What's really interesting, though, is that these companies are still operating on a massive, massive loss. So, we can see, Amazon is actually currently operating on a $750 million annual loss in India, and Flipkart isn't far behind it, actually. Right. It's a lot of fucking money. $750 million. So
Is it a lot of money when you're Amazon and when there's big potential?
Well, no, they're doing it for growth, obviously. They're just pumping money in. Amazon is desperate to beat Flipkart. Flipkart is desperate to beat Amazon. So they're both pumping money in, and they're losing money in order to win the market and get the growth that they want in the future. But what that means is that they're just pumping money into the economy. So there's really no choice but for the Indian e-commerce economy to grow massively at the moment. So this rings alarm bells in my mind for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's some great opportunity for selling through marketplaces in India at the moment. We're seeing massive growth. It's only going to grow further. So why not start selling your products or importing products, white labeling products, whatever you want to do, and selling them in India through Flipkart, through Amazon. I think there's another couple of marketplaces that are quite popular out there. So that's one opportunity. The other opportunity to me is kind of back end or backdoor investments, I'd call them, where we now know that the e-commerce economy is going to grow in India. So it's a great opportunity to look for, or there are going to be many opportunities, investment opportunities in e-commerce, in publicly listed companies in India at the moment. So I think there's going to be some real opportunity for finding some good stocks to invest in India, with this kind of undeniable growth. We're going to see the growth. It's going to happen. So it's a good opportunity to start researching those kinds of companies that you can invest into. So
and I think Amazon India, is, in English, I think. English being the second most,
well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
So that's easier for anyone that wants to start a business in India.
Exactly. Why not? Yeah, it's just such an easy way to break into an Asian market, right? It just, it makes sense. So that's kind of interesting. That's continuing on from our previous stories on India, but it's certainly one to keep your eyes on. We're going to be seeing massive growth in India, and we're going to see a bunch of opportunities. So keep your eyes open on India. Something you don't want to miss out on. There's money to be made. That's for sure.
Indeed.
What else have we got? So, DPD, Germany delivers parcels with 3-wheelers. So there's no need to go into this for too long, but we've got a really interesting company called DPD, who are basically providing, German delivery companies at the moment with these 3-wheeler, they're calling them tricycles, but I think a tricycle would have to be something that you pedal, right? So it's like a 3-wheeler motorbike thing. It looks like one of those, ride-on garden lawnmowers, like the little tractor things.
Indeed, they look weird.
You look it up, guys. DPD. If you search DPD deliveries Germany 3-wheelers or something like that in Google, you'll get some images come up, and it looks kind of hilarious, but it makes a lot of sense because they're applying this in major German cities, and they can carry 50 parcels. And they're
fully electric.
They're fully electric. They can weave through, traffic. A van definitely can't do that. And that's pretty much been our only delivery method up until now in major cities. We've got vans. What else can you do? How else can you deliver packages? So it looks kind of weird. It looks kind of futuristic. And it could be something that we're going to be seeing over the next couple of years applied throughout different cities. I mean, I know we've got the big potential for like drone deliveries and all sorts of different delivery methods coming up in the near future, but we still, road access is still going to be our main delivery method, right? For quite a few years to come, if not for
people will shoot drones.
Yeah, I don't know.
They did it, and they will keep doing it. So
yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. So this kind of three-wheeler delivery method could actually be a really interesting one, and it could be the future. It really could be. I wouldn't be surprised. It certainly is an improvement on the traditional van delivery, which, let's face it, in cities that are built up with congestion and traffic, a van just isn't really efficient anymore. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Amazon adopts this type of delivery method in the coming years. But who knows? We shall see. So moving on, we have a brief little bit of news here on the fact that Amazon is the place where Germans are spending their time and money. There's been a survey, I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. The top 10, where is it? I wish I knew whether this was a survey or who this has been performed by. But we have here, so market research company InnoFact has analysed on which 10 online shopping platforms users from Germany spend most of their time. And we have a total of 3,000 consumers that have been interviewed for this research. And it seems that as a result of that, the most time being spent is on Amazon. Really interestingly, closely behind that was AliExpress, which I'm kind of surprised by.
Second place would be eBay Marketplace, actually.
Yeah. No, we've got eBay Marketplace, and there's Wish and Otto, which I'm guessing are more like German online brands. But apparently in the top 10 was still AliExpress, which seems kind of surprising to me, because
Germans like cheaper things.
Yeah, I just never really considered AliExpress to be like a consumer website where people go. I always guessed it was like people trying to investigate business opportunities more than actually consuming directly from AliExpress.
That's what you'd think, but I know a lot of my friends actually bought from AliExpress and Alibaba.
Really? There you go.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never done it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheaper. If you're up for waiting for a product 3 weeks, then...
Is that how long it takes usually? Yeah, I guess.
Well, it depends on your shipping method. But obviously, if you want to keep it cheap, then you'll select the cheapest of the shipping methods.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, it's just, it wouldn't be worth it, would it?
Yeah. Well, it's think of, if you want to build a house and you want all the electrics in your house cheaper, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You're willing to, you're building your project, and until you're building your project, you can purchase all your electronics.
There you go. I like that. Yeah. Why not? So there's a bit of advice for you all. Start using AliExpress a bit more and save some money on your purchases.
Indeed.
Interestingly, also on that list was Lidl. So the number 10, so at the bottom of the top 10 list was Lidl, which I think is kind of cool, because Lidl, I think, has made a real comeback. And this is just like my consumer opinion. This isn't based on any statistics or anything like that. But I feel like they've made a real comeback in recent years. If you go and shop in a Lidl these days, I went shopping probably the last time about a year ago, but it was one in Spain, and all the products were like so much better than they used to be. They were beautiful organic products.
Organic, that's what I'm what I'm thinking.
Lidl
is my favorite.
Right.
I'm always shopping at Lidl, because I think 70% of the products are actually organic. No shitty stuff.
And they used to be just like the massively cheap brand, right? You had Lidl and Aldi, and you'd go there just to get incredibly cheap products.
Yeah.
And now it's all organic products, but here's the amazing thing. It's still just as cheap as it always used to be, right?
Yep.
So I'm pretty amazed by what they're doing. I didn't know they had online shopping available. And the fact that obviously Lidl's a German company, but the fact that they are they've got the number 10 spot for the place where users or online shoppers are spending most of their time, I think is pretty impressive. And
it is.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see a lot of growth from companies like Lidl and Audi in the coming years. It's pretty cool what they're doing.
Yep.
So that is that with the old Germans. That's what they're up to, and that's where they're spending their time. And of course, man, Amazon just always comes up in all of these news articles.
Everything is related to Amazon. Any news kind of points to Amazon at some point.
It's true. It's very true. It's kind of hard to avoid them.
Yep.
Right. This, to me, is a really big, important news article that people need to pay attention to. And the article here is the fact that retailers should be investing in visualization technology in order to boost their online sales. Now, this is off the back of a survey of 1,000 shoppers. It was conducted by an e-commerce agency called PushON. And it has found that 45% of people would be more inclined to spend larger amounts online if technology was available that could help them better envisage products online before they buy.
Oh, I like this one.
Right. Now, this is like the ongoing problem with e-commerce, right? 15 years ago, 20 years ago, no one ever could imagine how we were ever going to sell shoes online or clothes or mattresses. This was from last week's podcast, right? We discussed how, what's it called? Not Lisa, or is it Casper, or whichever, the other mattress company has had massive growth. It's one of the most, it's the fastest growing startup in Europe or something like that. We could have never imagined that people were going to be able to buy, or people were going to have the confidence to buy mattresses on the fucking internet. And I used to have a clothing store, right? I used to sell clothes, and I used to sell vintage clothes as well. I had a different vintage clothing store. And it was such a challenge to really make sure we provided the customers or the website visitors with enough information to be able to make a decision on whether they wanted to buy the product or not. But you always had this barrier of the fact that they couldn't try something on, because let's face it, how many times have you gone to a store and like H&M or something, a clothing store? I don't know why I'm thinking of clothing mostly for this stuff, because I think it's a really big one. And you see something on a hanger and you think, damn it, I really like that shirt. And you take maybe 5 items to try them on in the changing rooms. And you want to try them on because you think that all 5 of them are really nice. But since you can try them on there, you're gonna go and give them a go. And then you come out and you only end up buying one of them because the shirt just looked a bit weird, the shoulders weren't quite right, or something like that. There's always a little problem that makes you go, damn it, it's just not quite right. So as consumers, we know that happens and we know it's a problem. So when it comes to purchasing things online, we're aware of that problem. Now, people have, we've kind of overcome that through customer service in recent years, and you've got big international companies like ASOS and H&M and things like that will just provide instant free returns without any hassle or any problem whatsoever. And that's given people a lot of confidence. I know people who will make purchases online, and will purchase kind of 10 items of clothing, fully aware that they're going to return a large percentage of them. Like they expect to make a return, right? And I think a lot of these large retailers have only managed to overcome these concerns about clothes fitting or looking right by having these good returns policies. But nonetheless, it's still not fixing the problem, right? We've still got more we can do. We still haven't managed to simulate that trying on process that you can do in a shop.
Yeah.
And this applies to so many different things as well. It's not just clothes. It could be, I can't think of any examples. Christian, have you got any? Like anything that needs visualization? Any
type of product, even a mattress for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. Or even furniture, if you wanted to buy furniture online.
Yeah. How can you visualize it in your own place? That's pretty hard.
Exactly.
Even if you knew the measurements, it's still hard to visualize it and place it in your mind.
Exactly. So how are we going to fix it? And this is actually something that is in an ebook that we're currently producing as well, that will be coming out very soon. You'll be able to find it if you just go to the taketraction.com homepage in probably about a month's time. You'll be able to find an ebook on there, and this is one of the, recommendations we have for increasing your online conversions. And that is, having better product images, having 360 videos, having videos of the product being used and these kinds of things, just trying to make sure that you're giving as much visual information as you possibly can to the user, or the customer. And so this is already something that I think has been really present in our minds. And I think, Christian, we've known this for years, and it's always, I think anyone can understand that good product images are really going to make a difference, because it allows people to really understand what kind of product they're going to be buying. But what makes this article even more interesting to me right now is that I have just acquired an iPhone X, right? And with my fun new little gadget, I have augmented reality features available due to the kind of advanced camera that it has. And as soon as I got this phone, I searched for augmented reality apps in the App Store. And one of the first ones that popped up was one from IKEA, right? Ooh. And what this app allows me to do is I can very quickly scan my room, or the room that I'm standing in, and then I can go through the entire catalogue of IKEA and place their furniture, their items, into my room through augmented reality. So looking at my phone.
That's freaking amazing, isn't it?
Right. Freaking crazy. So I can literally select a chair and place the chair next to the wall in my room. And of course, it's not actually there, but on my phone, it looks like it's there. And this is really crazy because
you can actually visualize it.
There you go. And so I'm actually moving house. I'm back in the UK at the moment, but I'm just visiting. I'm living in Mexico at the moment, and when I get back in about a week's time, I'm going to be moving straight into a new house with a couple of friends of mine. And that new house doesn't have any furniture in it at the moment, and none of us have any furniture between us. So we're going to have to furnish the entire apartment. Now, while we will not be buying from IKEA, because IKEA isn't actually available in Mexico, but let's say it was, it doesn't really matter. But we're not going to be using IKEA. We can still plan out our entire apartment furniture with sofas. All right, it might not be the exact same sofa, but we can get an idea for how it's going to look by choosing an L-shaped sofa or something and placing it in the room through augmented reality. Which is kind of freaking crazy, right?
It is.
You can get a much better visualization of stuff.
But I guess they have the 3D models to do that. Or can it be done by just taking a picture of a furniture?
I don't know. So yeah, they're creating these products digitally.
Exactly.
They've created a 3D digital version of their products.
So this should be a collaboration between the manufacturer and the merchants, the sellers. Right.
Yes. You're very much going to need, yes. This is a manufacturer step, really, I suppose. But it could also be, a lot of potential for growth in companies. And again, this could be a backdoor investment opportunity here. The companies that help create 3D models of products may see some crazy growth in the coming years because of the number of manufacturers that are going to try and subcontract or contract companies to create 3D models of their products so that they can use augmented reality for their customer buying process. So it could be a good backdoor investment there.
I love it. This would be a big step in the e-commerce business.
And it's gonna happen. Here's another example, right? I got some tattoos last week. I don't think I told you about this. Yeah, again,
no.
I got some tattoos last week, but, so these are tattoos that I'd sketched myself, and I wanted to see what they'd look like on my body before I went and got them done. And of course, on the iPhone X, there's an app for that. And so I downloaded this app. Let me see if I can find it. I'm going to get it up right now. So the IKEA app is just called IKEA Place. And then this tattoo app is called Ink Hunter, right? And so I can take a picture of this sketch that I've created if it's just black and white or something. What it does is it kind of, if you've done the sketch or you've got the drawing on white paper, it just removes the white. And then using augmented reality, I can place it onto my body, and it will follow the curvature of my arm or whatever part of my body I'm trying to place it onto. So it literally looks like it's been tattooed on my freaking body. And I can then take a picture of that and look at the picture afterwards and say, do I like that? Is that the right positioning? Is that how I want it to look? So shit's going down with augmented reality, guys, and visualization of products and all sorts of things before making purchases. So there's going to be a much more improved pre-purchase, customer experience, I believe, which is pretty exciting.
Freaking awesome.
So, and we've got a couple more stories for you here, guys. We've got an acquisition. Oh no, we've got SeatGeek bringing ticket buying to Snapchat. So what this will essentially be is that this is just a partnership between Snapchat and SeatGeek, and it just means that in a Snapchat story or whatever they call it, do they call them stories? How's it?
I think that's
what Instagram calls them.
Snapchat story. Yeah.
Snapchat stories as well. So from a Snapchat story, let's say you've got a story from a company, or as a business, you've created a story for an event. You'll now be able to swipe up and just purchase tickets for that event directly from the Snapchat app without ever leaving it.
Didn't Instagram do the same?
So exactly. So
booking appointments at restaurants.
There you go. I don't know much about this, but I've noticed it as a user on Instagram recently. Like I'm watching someone's story and suddenly it says swipe up to see the product or something. Or even on a product image, there's a product on the product image. If there's an item that can be purchased from not a product image, sorry. If someone's uploaded an Instagram image and there's a product that can be purchased from that Instagram image, sometimes in the bottom left it says see product or product details or something like that, and you click this button and then you can see the product, and you can then go through to the user's website or the company's website to purchase that product. And of course we revealed in our Opinews from a couple of weeks ago that Instagram is going to be accepting e-commerce transactions directly from the Instagram platform very soon. So it's just, I think this whole SeatGeek Snapchat partnership is just reinforces the direction we're going in with e-commerce infiltrating the apps that we use most. We know that most of our time is spent on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, places like that on our phones. Most other apps kind of completely pale in comparison to these main social media apps. And so if that's where we're spending most of our time, that's where we want to be trying to make sales as well. And it's just going to be this whole big shift, and it's already happening. And I think it's really interesting to see how these integrations and partnerships and all the rest of it, everything that's going on, is going to facilitate the ease of purchasing for people. It's just going to make buying stuff so damn easy, which is dangerous. It's kind of scary.
It is.
It's scary as a consumer, but it's incredibly powerful to us e-commerce folk who want to sell lots of products and tickets and whatever stuff.
Everything, anything.
Exactly. So that's pretty cool. Anything else you want to add on that one, Christian?
No, that's it.
Okay. So our very last one here, and this is a news article that Patreon has acquired Kit. Now, this is quite interesting to me for a number of reasons. So let's just give a bit of background first. So Patreon is a platform that creators can sign up to, and users then pay like a monthly fee in order to be able to view that creator's content. So basically what it does is it removes, so if you've got a platform like YouTube where there are lots of creators on YouTube, right? people can view the content for free, but then they have to view ads. And the whole business model functions around ads for YouTube, right? Whereas Patreon allows people to pay a subscription fee, and there are 0 ads, nothing at all, and they get premium content on top of that. Or no, for that subscription fee, they'll then get premium content from the creators that they follow and love the most. So it's kind of removing the ad-based business model from all of these platforms, which is kind of, it's always been interesting to me to see how that works, because it's strange how you'd always be surprised how people are willing to spend money on supporting things, which you wouldn't kind of expect naturally. But you take something like Kickstarter. It's such a crazy concept that people are going to spend a bunch of money on products that don't even exist yet, so that companies can help launch and get off the ground. And maybe in 6 months you'll receive that product, but it's not guaranteed. You may lose your money. And people do it, and people spend loads of money on Kickstarter. So it's...
Well, I think when you see ads every day on any website you visit, it gets to you at some point, and you're willing to spend a couple, I don't know, what it costs, what it actually costs for a subscription. I guess it's what, $10 or...
It depends on what you set it up to be, I think. I don't know. I don't know enough about Patreon. It's just always interested me. But right. I don't think it's so much that people want to avoid the ads. I think it's more that people want to support the creators that they follow, that they love.
Or a bit of both.
And that's what really interests me about it. Now, we've had YouTube try and compete with platforms like Patreon by creating YouTube Red. So a service where you have to pay for your subscription, and then you get premium content from the top creators, and you don't have any ads and all that kind of stuff. So they've tried to kind of compete with this, and that clearly shows that they clearly understand that the ad model is it's lagging. It's a bit old, and people are sick of it, and people are willing to spend money on premium content these days. So YouTube is aware of that, and they've shown that through creating YouTube Red. But what Patreon is now doing through this Kit acquisition, Kit is a logistics company for merchandise. They basically facilitate the entire logistics of merchandise. If you think of something like Amazon fulfillment, where you don't have to stock your own products or anything like that, you just send your stuff to Amazon, and they'll ship it out to your customers when you get purchases. Well, Kit does that for creators that sell merchandise. So you could be a band, you could be a YouTuber, a vlogger, you could be a podcaster, whatever. And if people want to purchase your merchandise, well, you've either got to have 50 boxes in your house and do all the shipping yourself and all the packaging and things like that, straight from your living room, or you can contract a company to take care of this stuff for you. And Kit is specifically designed for not just any e-commerce store owners, but actually merchandise for creators. So this partnership with Patreon, I think, is going to be really interesting, because it's going to help creators make more money and help creators get involved in e-commerce, or actually start generating more revenue from e-commerce. So it's actually going to attribute to e-commerce growth in the world, which is cool. That's what we want. It's a pretty cool fact.
Indeed.
So that's that. I'm really interested to see how we're going to shift in the coming years, how we're going to be supporting our creators in the coming years, especially now that, TV isn't the most popular platform anymore. So we've got all these different platforms where we receive our content. We've got blogs. We've got YouTube. All my video content comes from YouTube. We've got podcasts. Who listens to the radio anymore? Right. So we've got all these new platforms, yet they're all still very young, and we're still working out how to monetize them properly, and how the creators want or would like things to work, and how the consumers would like things to work. And it's down to the companies, the platforms, to work that out for us and really understand the consumers and the creators, to create platforms that both sides absolutely love working with, basically, or using. And I think Patreon's really pushing with that, and they may be a little bit ahead of their time as well. Maybe the world's not quite ready for Patreon yet, but I think what they're doing is really getting ahead of the game, and they're probably going to, make some big changes and see some good growth in the coming years. So that's that. I feel like I just talked for way too long. Damn it. And we are nearly on 35 minutes already, guys. It's time to wrap this up. Let's call it a day. So we've got massive growth in India, 31% in growth in 2018, a report has predicted. We've got 3-wheeler lawnmowers delivering 50 parcels per trip in Germany, in major cities in Germany. We've got Germans spending most of their time online on Amazon, which doesn't really come as a surprise. We've got retailers needing to invest more in visualization technology. Take a lesson from IKEA here, guys, and work out how you can start to apply better visualization technology to your company, or look at backdoor investments into visualization companies such as 3D modeling companies and things like that. We've got SeatGeek partnering up with Snapchat to bring you easier purchases of tickets through Snapchat, and we can expect to see much more growth in sales through applications that we use on our phones such as Snapchat and Instagram and Twitter and so on and so forth in the coming years. And last but not least, we've had this little talk on Patreon and their kit acquisition, and how we're going to see some real changes in the way that we support our creators in the coming years. So that is everything. Christian, anything you want to add?
That's everything.
Then we'll leave it at that. As always, before we do that, have a wonderful weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, I've been Charlie Center.
And I've been Christian Opre.
Dun 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 dun.
Whatever the fuck that was.